Welcome to One Big Question. Today we travel back in time to witness how 2 million years of rain changed Earth. Imagine a vast supercontinent called Pangaea, stretching across the globe, dominated by endless scorching deserts and incredibly harsh, dry climates. This is the Triassic period, roughly 234 million years ago, a time of extreme heat and drought. Life here was an absolute struggle for survival. Only the toughest and most resilient creatures could endure these punishing, arid conditions. Giant reptiles ruled this dusty wasteland. They were the undisputed kings of a barren world, adapted perfectly to the extreme drought. But deep beneath the rocky surface, massive geological forces were slowly building up, preparing to unleash an unprecedented global catastrophe soon. Volcanoes began to erupt with unimaginable fury, tearing the earth apart and spewing endless rivers of molten lava across the land. These massive eruptions released enormous quantities of carbon dioxide directly into the atmosphere, rapidly altering the global climate in drastic ways. The sky grew incredibly dark as thick volcanic ash and heavy greenhouse gases completely blocked out the bright, burning Triassic sun. Global temperatures skyrocketed to dangerous new levels. The oceans warmed rapidly, causing massive amounts of water to evaporate into the sky. Then, the first drops of water began to fall on the parched Earth, signaling the start of a massive planetary shift. This was not just a normal storm. It was the absolute beginning of the legendary Carnian Pluvial episode in Earth's history. The rain poured down relentlessly, transforming the dry, cracked desert floor into a vast, muddy landscape filled with endless, deep puddles. It rained continuously for 2 million years. Yes, you heard that right. 2 entire million years of unstoppable, heavy, torrential downpours. Rivers overflowed their ancient banks, creating massive new lakes and turning previously dry valleys into enormous, deep, and incredibly treacherous swamps. The once familiar world was now completely submerged. This sudden environmental shift proved absolutely devastating for the previously dominant terrestrial animals. Let us look at the former kings of the land. Massive reptiles, like the terrifying Postosuchus, who once ruled without challenge. Postosuchus was an apex predator, built heavily for ambushing prey on solid, dry ground under the hot, unforgiving, ancient Triassic sun. However, in this newly formed swampy environment, its heavy body and short legs became a massive, dangerous, and often fatal disadvantage. They struggled immensely to move through the thick, sticky mud, expending vital energy just to take a single, slow, difficult step. Another giant, the massive herbivore Ischigualastia, faced a similar grim fate as the changing climate completely destroyed its natural food sources. The tough, dry plants they relied on were quickly replaced by new, moisture-loving ferns and tall, unfamiliar, fast-growing conifers. Their digestive systems simply could not process this strange new vegetation, leading to widespread starvation among these once mighty, dominant giants. As the heavy rains continued to fall, the old guard of the Triassic period slowly but surely marched toward inevitable extinction. The massive ancient reptiles were dying out, leaving behind empty ecological niches waiting to be filled by a completely new lineage. But nature always finds a way to adapt. From the shadows of the dying giants, a new group of survivors emerged. These were the early dinosaurs, small, agile, and perfectly equipped to handle the extreme challenges of this wet, constantly changing world. Why did dinosaurs succeed where others failed so miserably? The secret lies deep within their highly advanced and unique internal anatomy. First, they possessed a highly efficient respiratory system, featuring special air sacs that provided a constant, steady supply of fresh oxygen. This allowed them to remain highly active and incredibly energetic, even in the dense, humid, and very challenging, new, swampy environments. Second, many early dinosaurs walked entirely on two legs, giving them a significant advantage when navigating through the deep, sticky mud. Their bipedal stance kept their bodies high above the water, allowing them to move quickly and gracefully across the flooded landscapes. While the heavy reptiles sank deeply into the mire, the nimble dinosaurs practically danced over the dangerous, treacherous, and muddy terrain. Third, their highly adaptable digestive systems evolved rapidly to process the tough new conifers and abundant ferns spreading across the land. They could extract maximum nutrients from this new plant life, ensuring their survival while the older, larger herbivores slowly starved away. As the 2 million years of rain finally came to an end, the Earth was completely transformed into a lush paradise. The dinosaurs had not just survived the Great Storm, they had absolutely thrived, ready to conquer this vibrant, newly refreshed world. Now let us trace the incredible evolutionary journey of these fascinating creatures, starting from their very humble and remarkably small beginnings. Meet Eoraptor, one of the earliest known dinosaurs. It was small, incredibly fast, and weighed no more than a modern dog. Eoraptor darted through the dense underbrush, using its sharp claws and keen eyesight to hunt small insects and gather nutritious leaves. Another early pioneer was Herrerasaurus, a slightly larger and far more formidable predator that prowled the ancient, shadowy, and mysterious forests. With its powerful jaws and sharp teeth, Herrerasaurus represented the very beginning of the terrifying theropod lineage that would eventually dominate. Over millions of years, these early dinosaurs rapidly diversified, splitting into countless new species and occupying every available ecological niche imaginable. Some evolved into massive, towering giants, forever changing the scale of life on land and reshaping the ancient prehistoric forest canopy. Behold the magnificent Brachiosaurus, a colossal herbivore whose incredibly long neck allowed it to reach the very highest branches with ease. These gentle giants moved slowly in massive herds, consuming tons of vegetation daily to sustain their enormous, incredibly heavy, towering bodies. The ground literally shook beneath their massive, pillar-like legs as they migrated across the vast, endless, and green prehistoric plains. Meanwhile, the predators also grew in size and ferocity, evolving into some of the most fearsome killing machines Earth ever witnessed. Enter the legendary Tyrannosaurus Rex, the absolute undisputed king of the late Cretaceous period, armed with bone-crushing, incredibly powerful jaws. With forward-facing eyes and a massive skull, the T-Rex was a perfectly engineered apex predator, capable of taking down giants, but even the mighty T-Rex would look incredibly small next to the true titans of the ancient prehistoric world, the Titanosaurs. Meet Argentinosaurus, arguably the largest land animal to ever walk the earth, stretching over 100 feet in total body length. This walking mountain of flesh and bone was practically immune to predators once it reached its full, astonishing, and unbelievable size. The sheer diversity of dinosaurs was absolutely staggering, with each species perfectly adapted to its own specific, unique, and challenging environment. From the dense, steamy tropical jungles to the vast, open, arid plains, dinosaurs truly conquered every single corner of the globe. But perhaps the most fascinating and surprising chapter of their incredible story takes place in the absolute harshest environment on Earth. Let us travel far north to the ancient Arctic Circle, a place that looked vastly different than the icy wasteland today. Back then, the Arctic was covered in dense, lush pine forests, but it still experienced months of absolute, freezing, dark winter. Surviving in this extreme polar environment required incredible, highly specialized adaptations that only a few remarkable dinosaur species managed to develop. One such survivor was Nanosaurus, a smaller, heavily feathered relative of the T-Rex, perfectly built for the freezing, dark polar winters. Often called the polar bear of the dinosaur world, Nanosaurus used its thick coat of feathers to stay incredibly warm naturally. Its smaller size meant it needed significantly less food during the long, dark winter months, when prey was incredibly scarce everywhere. Nanosaurus prowled the snowy forests, using its incredibly keen sense of smell to track down any available food in the darkness. Another remarkable polar resident was Troodon, a highly intelligent, fast-moving predator with exceptionally large eyes, perfectly adapted for low light. Troodon thrived in the long Arctic nights, easily hunting smaller mammals and completely dominating the dark, freezing, and snowy winter landscape. These polar dinosaurs proved that these incredible creatures were not just mindless, cold-blooded reptiles restricted only to warm, tropical climates. They were highly adaptable, dynamic animals capable of surviving and thriving in literally some of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. The story of the dinosaurs is a powerful testament to the incredible resilience and endless creativity of life on our planet. From the devastating 2 million years of rain to the freezing polar nights, they overcame absolutely every single obstacle nature presented. For over 160 million years, they reigned supreme, shaping the evolution of countless other species across the globe. Let us rewind and examine the oceans during that incredibly long, devastating 2 million year rainstorm that forever changed our world. The massive influx of fresh water completely disrupted marine ecosystems, causing widespread extinctions among ancient, highly specialized coral reef building organisms. However, this marine crisis also paved the way for modern corals and massive marine reptiles to eventually take over the seas. Back on land, the continuous rain washed away vital nutrients from the soil, creating a highly challenging environment for all plants. Only the toughest, fastest growing flora could survive, completely changing the fundamental base of the entire global terrestrial food web forever. This dramatic shift in vegetation is exactly what doomed the heavy, slow-moving Triassic herbivores, who simply could not adapt quickly. Imagine being a massive Ischigualastia, wandering endlessly through thick mud, desperately searching for familiar food that literally no longer existed anywhere. Their slow metabolism and heavy, cumbersome bodies made it absolutely impossible to migrate long distances in search of better, drier pastures. As they weakened and died out, the terrifying apex predators like Postosuchus suddenly found themselves without their primary reliable food source. Postosuchus tried hunting the newly emerged, incredibly fast early dinosaurs, but their heavy, slow bodies simply could not keep the pace. The mud trapped the giant predators, turning them from feared hunters into desperate, starving scavengers struggling to survive the endless rain. This marks one of the most dramatic power shifts in Earth's history, a complete replacement of the dominant terrestrial animal kingdom. The dinosaurs inherited a thoroughly washed-out world, but their unique biological advantages allowed them to rebuild and dominate it completely. Their hollow bones made them incredibly light and agile, a massive advantage when navigating the soft, sinking mud of the swamps. This lightweight skeletal structure is a key feature they eventually passed down to their modern descendants, the birds we see today. Furthermore, dinosaurs laid hard-shelled eggs, which provided significantly better protection for their developing young in the damp, highly unpredictable environment. These eggs could survive in conditions where the softer, more vulnerable eggs of ancient amphibians and early reptiles would quickly rot. As the climate eventually stabilized and dried out, the dinosaurs were perfectly positioned to explode in both population and physical size. The Jurassic period ushered in the true age of giants, a time when massive sauropods completely dominated the lush green landscapes. Picture a massive herd of Brachiosaurus slowly stripping entire forests bare, their incredibly long necks reaching heights of over 40 feet. To support such massive growth, these giants had to consume hundreds of pounds of tough, fibrous plant material every single day. They swallowed heavy stones to help grind up the tough vegetation inside their massive, highly specialized, and incredibly efficient digestive tracts. This continuous feeding frenzy cleared massive pathways through the dense forests, literally reshaping the entire physical landscape of the prehistoric world. Following these massive herds were the deadly theropod predators, always watching closely for a weak, sick, or highly vulnerable young target. The evolutionary arms race between massive, heavily armored prey and incredibly powerful, sharp-toothed predators drove constant, rapid, and amazing adaptations. Some herbivores developed massive horns, thick, bony plates, or incredibly deadly spiked tails to defend themselves against the terrifying, hungry carnivores. Meanwhile, predators evolved stronger jaws, longer claws, and highly coordinated pack hunting strategies to take down increasingly dangerous and massive prey. This intense, unending competition peaked during the late Cretaceous period, producing some of the most iconic and famous dinosaurs ever known. The mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex was the ultimate result of millions of years of predatory evolution, a perfect, unstoppable, and terrifying killer. Its bite force was so incredibly immense that it could easily crush solid bone, allowing it to consume absolutely every part. Yet, despite their terrifying power, even the mighty T-Rex had to be extremely careful when approaching the massive, heavily armored Triceratops. A single well-placed thrust from those massive facial horns could easily prove fatal, even for the undisputed king of dinosaurs. Far to the south, in what is now modern-day South America, evolution was pushing the absolute physical limits of size. The mighty Argentinosaurus was so incredibly massive that a single footprint could easily serve as a small swimming pool for children. It took decades for these massive creatures to reach their full adult size, surviving countless dangers during their highly vulnerable youth. But once fully grown, they feared absolutely nothing. Their sheer, unbelievable size was the ultimate, perfect defense against any known predator. Now let us shift our focus back to the freezing dark and highly challenging environments of the ancient prehistoric Arctic Circle. The discovery of polar dinosaurs completely shattered our previous understanding of these magnificent creatures as purely warm weather, sun-loving reptiles. It proved that dinosaurs were incredibly adaptable, warm-blooded animals capable of generating their own internal body heat to survive winters. Imagine the terrifying Nanooksaurus, a fluffy white feathered predator, silently stalking its prey through a dense, freezing, and blinding snowstorm. Its thick plumage acted just like a modern winter coat, trapping vital body heat and keeping the fierce predator incredibly warm. During the darkest months, the sun never rose above the horizon, plunging the snowy forest into a seemingly endless freezing night. This is where the highly intelligent Troodon truly excelled, using its massive eyes to gather every single tiny bit of starlight. Troodon possessed one of the largest brain-to-body ratios of any dinosaur, making it an incredibly smart and cunning hunter. They likely hunted in highly coordinated packs, using complex vocalizations to communicate and trap their terrified prey in the freezing darkness. The harsh polar environment also forced these northern dinosaurs to develop unique reproductive strategies to ensure the survival of their young. They carefully timed their nesting seasons so that their vulnerable babies would hatch during the brief, warm, and highly productive summer. During this short summer window, the Arctic exploded with vibrant plant life and massive swarms of nutritious insects for the young. The parents worked tirelessly around the clock, gathering as much food as possible before the dark, freezing winter inevitably returned again. These incredible polar dinosaurs represent the absolute pinnacle of dinosaur adaptability, conquering environments that would easily kill most modern reptiles today. From the rain-soaked swamps of the Carnian Pluvial episode to the freezing dark snowy forests of the ancient Arctic Circle, dinosaurs constantly proved their incredible resilience, evolving and adapting to absolutely every single challenge our dynamic, ever-changing planet threw at them. Their reign lasted for an astonishing 160 million years, a vast stretch of time that is hard to comprehend. To put that into proper perspective, the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex actually lived closer in time to humans than to the Stegosaurus. They were not evolutionary failures in any way. They were, without a doubt, one of the most successful animal groups ever. Even when a massive asteroid finally struck the Earth, forever ending the glorious age of the giant, dominant, and terrifying reptiles, the incredible dinosaur lineage did not completely die out. A small, feathered group of highly adaptable survivors managed to escape destruction. These resilient survivors eventually evolved into the thousands of beautiful, diverse bird species that currently fill our modern skies with song. So the next time you see a tiny pigeon or a majestic eagle soaring high above, remember their incredible, ancient heritage. You are looking at a living dinosaur the ultimate survivor of a magnificent lineage, born from 2 million years of endless reign. The story of dinosaurs teaches us a profound lesson about life's incredible ability to adapt, evolve, and overcome massive environmental catastrophes. It shows us that even in the absolute darkest times, whether under endless rain or freezing snow, life will find a way. Our planet is a highly dynamic, constantly changing world, and the magnificent dinosaurs were its absolute greatest, most successful ancient pioneers. They conquered the deepest swamps, the highest ancient forests, the vast open plains, and even the freezing, dark, and snowy polar regions. Their incredible fossils continue to inspire endless wonder and deep fascination in the minds of curious people all over the modern world. Every new fossil discovery adds another tiny, fascinating puzzle piece to the grand, incredibly complex, and beautiful story of prehistoric life. We are still uncovering massive, previously unknown species, completely changing our fundamental understanding of how these magnificent giants actually lived and died. Perhaps deep beneath the frozen Arctic ice, or hidden within dense tropical jungles, even more incredible dinosaur secrets are waiting patiently. Secrets that will finally explain exactly how they communicated, how they raised their young, and how they survived such extreme, harsh climates. The legacy of the dinosaurs is permanently written in the solid stone of our earth, a lasting tribute to their incredible strength. They remind us that no matter how big or powerful a species becomes, we are all ultimately subject to nature's changing forces. The 2 million years of reign destroyed the old kings, but it also beautifully set the stage for a spectacular new era. It is a powerful reminder that every ending in nature is simply the beautiful, necessary beginning of something entirely new and wonderful. We must respect our changing planet, learning vital lessons from the ancient past to better understand our own fragile, highly unpredictable future. Because just like the mighty dinosaurs, our ultimate survival depends entirely on our ability to adapt to a rapidly shifting global environment. The grand tale of Pangaea, the endless reign, the fallen kings, and the mighty dinosaurs is one of Earth's greatest historical epics. It is a story of magnificent survival, incredible evolution, and the unstoppable, beautiful, and highly dynamic force of life on our planet. Thank you for joining us on this incredible prehistoric journey through time, exploring the deep, fascinating mysteries of our ancient, beautiful world. We hope you enjoyed discovering how 2 million years of reign completely transformed the Earth and gave rise to the mighty dinosaurs. This has been One Big Question. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we will see you in the next fascinating, incredible educational adventure.